I'm gonna talk about like my earliest memories with VTubing today. My debut was December 13th, 2018, and by debut I just mean that's when my first video on YouTube was released, December 13th, 1918. Not 1918, 2018. Yeah, I've been VTubing for uh coming on 102 years now. You know, hello, Canemius. It was a little hard to V2 before the advent of the television, let alone the internet, but I found a way. I found a way. It was also a little hard to V2 before the advent of anime. Let me tell you, back then, pre-anime, like trying to explain that I was an anime boy, that meant nothing to people. That meant nothing to people. But that's okay because I endured those early years. Um, I gotta tell you though, those early years in 1918 were rough, but I made it through them. Hello, Eight Lives. Hello, Benish. Okay. I didn't know I had a YouTube channel. Yeah. Here I have a thingy for the YouTube channel. YouTube. There we go. I'm not as active on YouTube recently as I have been in the past, but I mean, originally, YouTube was where I was more active because I make skits. I make little comedy skits as pending, and that's how I got my start. Is I would make those comedy skits. That's why I became a VTuber in the first place, was to make comedy skits or tell stories in general. Um, so yeah, uh, I just found you on Twitch. Oh, no worries at all. I'm very happy that you found me on Twitch. I'm very happy that you're here. Um, so yeah, I remember before I started VTubing. So like um it's kind of funny cuz like first off, like hey Hoshiko, hey new follower here. Who's the food in the No, it's not food in the background. That's Pinto. Pinto's not for eats. Hoshiko, it's not for eats. It's for pets. Yeah. So okay. I found out about VTubing, at least when I found out about VTubing, largely by chance, because a Summer. Oh, Summer, thank you for subscribing to the YouTube channel. Thank you. Pinto is adorable. Last night, I made a tweet about this, but last night I was like, uh, walking down the hall, and I heard a noise. So I went to see what the noise was, and it was Pinto. She had climbed up her water bottle. Don't know how. Well, I mean, I have a fairly good idea how, because Pinto's a pretty good climber, and when she sets her mind to something, she's pretty determined. Also, hello ASD. So I she was like on top of the water bottle, biting at the mesh, uh, biting out at the mesh of her lid, because her like habitat is like a repurposed like uh it is meant for like lizards and stuff, because like a standard issue like hamster tanks are too small, so we got something bigger for her. But anyways, she was biting at it. So I like took off the lid and I held out my hand and she walked in my hand, and then we played for a while. And thank you, Canemius, for gifting a sub to ASD. And yeah, when at night, Pinto likes to come out and play, and I gave her a little bit of boiled egg, hard boiled egg. I gave her a little bit of hard boiled egg as a treat. Mm-hmm. Hello, Instinct Pirate. So I've going back to like my earliest VTuber memories before I was a VTuber. Tinkers. Thank you. It's not Pending's birthday just yet. That's on December 13th. This is a pre-anniversary stream where I'm just kind of being nostalgic. So, okay, I found out about VTubing largely by chance because it a yeah, pre-anniversary. Because my YouTube recommended list had like a video of Kizuna Eye just trying to speak English, like a compilation video. And I watched that video and I thought it was funny, and then I didn't really think anything of it. At the time, honestly, while I was a big fan of anime as a kid, I was going through a period where I was kind of not watching anime so much anymore, and I was pretty uh busy with work and stuff. So I I kind of watched it and then I didn't really think much else about it. But because I watched that video, YouTube started recommending other Kizuna Eye videos in my recommended feed. And actually, originally, I don't think I've said this before, but originally, I actually actively was trying to avoid those recommendations because I didn't because I didn't really want to get back into anime at the time. Like it's it's hard to explain. Uh, do I want to get into this? So, mm, anime is a lot of anime is a lot of fun. Uh, but I guess I was just kind of burnt out on it. I guess is the way to put it. So, uh, I I uh I I avoided it for a little while, but eventually curiosity got the better of me, and uh, I I finally clicked on one of the videos, uh, and this time it was like an actual Kiss and I video as opposed to a fan compilation, and then I got kind of hooked, and so I started watching more and more of those videos. I went back and I watched some of her early stuff. And unlike me, whose early stuff is complete cringe, the early Kiss and I videos are actually really well made because her production value was really high right from the start. Used to watch so much myself, then dropped down to like one or two shows, then VTubers really happened, and exactly, like we fell into the trap of VTubers. And because I was watching Kiss and I, then uh, Kaguya Luna showed up in my feed, I think, and that kind of made me realize that VTubing wasn't just like VTubing was a thing. Like Kizuna Eye by herself was like a YouTuber that I started getting into watching, but then I liked Kizuna Luna as well, and suddenly I liked VTubers in general. And then I found out about Rhythm because I was actually searching, I think, for like stuff to learn about Japanese, and Rhythm had a video like a one-on-one a 101 tutorial on like basics of Japanese, uh, and that really appealed to me. Because obviously I was trying to learn Japanese. I've been on and off trying to learn Japanese for most of my life. Have never really been successful at it, but I thought like I want to watch more of this, and plus it was a VTuber that spoke fluent English, and that seemed really cool because I hadn't seen one of those before. So as it happened, Rhythm had a stream scheduled for the next morning. I was watching it like uh 11 p.m. or like maybe midnight or something, and she had a stream scheduled for like maybe 8 a.m. and I'm like, I'm not gonna wake up for that. Uh how am I doing tonight? I'm doing really well, Starshine. Hello. I hope you're doing well too. So I figured I'm not gonna wake up for that. And I went to sleep. And then, as it happened, I did wake up for it. So I woke up, I rolled out of bed. I'm like, okay, let's watch this stream, given that I'm up anyways. So I watched the stream, and then I think after that stream, she was doing a second stream on Twitch. So I watched that stream too. And during some point of that stream, um, she mentioned her Discord. So I went into Discord, and I didn't have Discord at the time. I made a Discord account. Uh, and so I and that was really the point in which it went from like being someone who watched a bit of VTubing to being someone who was trapped in the world of VTubing. Because now suddenly I was interacting with other people who liked VTubing, and back at that time, it was like a merry few who spoke English and were into VTubing. Yeah, Discord is how they get you. Which, by the way, I have a Discord. If you too would like to be trapped, my Discord isn't as active as Rhythms was back in those days. There was maybe like, I want to like, Rhythm had a pretty active. I want to say there was maybe like 20 or 30 or at most 40 of us that were routinely talking in Rhythm's Discord. There was much more people than that, but like a lot of people kind of popped in and out, whereas there was like a regular core of people that talked a lot there. And I remember some of the conversations we had, cuz at the time, like, and for many months after that, a frequent point of discussion, a frequent point of contention amongst people was whether or not English VTubing was a thing that could be viable. Like whether or not someone could ever get popular as an English VTuber, whether or not someone could ever make money as an English VTuber, like enough money to make a living. I remember, and this is jumping ahead a bit, I remember like there was this guy, and I won't name names, but he made a Twitter thread where basically he argued that that the difference between English VTubers, Western VTubers, and Japanese VTubers was that English VTubers could not and would not ever be successful enough to make a living on it. And you know, he got a lot of he got a lot of like backlash for that from people like saying, you know, they're trying their best, they're, you know, they're doing this for fun, and all that. And also, hello now and tasty Sixth House. And basically I remember, because the lesson he kind of took from it, which I felt was kind of the wrong lesson, like my basic argument was, you know, we can't know what the future holds, but you know, in the meantime, do what you love, you know, try your best and just be yourself, and like, you know, what happens happens, but as long as you're having fun, it's, you know, worth pursuing. And his lesson that he took from that and other people was basically, because he made a follow-up video about it, and he basically said, you know, what he learned was that English VTubers see this as a hobby, whereas Japanese VTubers see this as a job, which I felt was kind of like him taking the wrong lesson from it, because well, yes, it was and is a hobby to a lot of us. That wasn't really the point we were getting at. Um, and also, if I remember correctly, and at this point I may be putting some words on his mouth, but uh, uh, he I remember at one point he insinuated that it was a matter of us not working as hard, and I took some umbrage with that because like I w- I was working really hard on my skits, and I was doing that on top of like working full time. Like I was spending between the skits and like uh my other work, I was spending basically all my time doing one or the other. So I didn't really like the implication that the question that it was a question of not working hard enough. Um but yeah, I don't bring that up specifically to uh bash that person because I mean, first off, it doesn't matter anymore, and secondly, um no one knows what the future would hold. It's possible that things could have turned out differently, but I bring it up just to kind of highlight like this was not a preordained thing that everyone saw coming, that English VTubing was going to be big. There was a lot of people who thought that it wouldn't work, uh that this was a Japanese phenomenon that couldn't find success outside of Japan. Like it, that basically that this held no mainstream appeal. And I guess even now you could argue like whether or not this holds mainstream appeal, but clearly, thank you for the follow, Emigo Ohora, uh, O Oara. Thank you for the follow. I guess you could still argue whether or not this holds mainstream appeal, but clearly this has like an audience. Clearly, like like I think the last year has shown that uh beyond a shadow of a doubt that there are people, a great many of people that have an interest in watching VTubers. This is a growing industry. Nobody can deny it. It is definitely an industry that has grown by leaps and bounds over the last 2-3 years. And you mentioned Yui Kai. She was one of the first to really, on the English side, to really like uh take this and start really growing as a VTuber. I f- I don't know if this is true, but I think she was one of, if not the first, English speaking VTuber to get partner on Twitch. She did super well. I re- I remember early on, like, and she continues to do super well. I don't know why I talk about her in the past tense. She's still doing super well. I'm a big fan of Huey. I She was one of the she ran so we could run. Hmm. Uh I remember like after finding out about Rhythm, uh I started finding out about some other English VTubers. So for example, I found out about Tia Sunshine. I found out about Kairu. I found out about Caroline. Um I found out about um Yui Kai. I remember I remember seeing Yui Kai's early streams. Uh I I remember there was a time like I think maybe the first stream I saw her do was a Payday 2 stream where it was at the beginning of the stream and she was struggling to get the menus working. Uh and there I don't know, right off the bat she was really warm and she was entertaining, and like and I remember like I think I've mentioned this before, but like she had started playing Destiny 2, and it happened that my sister had played Destiny 2 for a bit, and my sister was playing Destiny 2 on my battle.net account, and she had stopped playing it. So I asked her, "Do you mind if I just use your old Destiny 2 character?" And she's like, "You can use it." So that seems to be a recurring theme with that game. Yeah, that's true, Roku. We ran into a similar issue not that long ago. Um so like I decided, okay, I'm gonna play some Destiny 2, and Yui Kai had and still has this thing, this role in our server for like playing games together. So I asked people uh if there was anyone who wanted to play Destiny 2 with me, because I was going to give it a chance. And Yui, who I hadn't really talked to one on one before, I had um, seen her videos, and I had talked to her a little bit on her stream, in the sense that I had messaged in chat, and then she responded to like things I said. And I think I remember telling her that I thought her first video was really good. Uh, and and so anyways, I hadn't really spoken to her much yet, but she responded like in the thing. It's like, "Yeah, I'll play. Just give me like a couple minutes." I'm like, "Okay, great." Uh and I wasn't expecting it, cuz cuz I was still very new and stuff, and it was a lot of fun playing with her. And I think and other people came in and played with us too. Um and we played some of that, and then we played some other games. There was this mobile MOBA game that we played, and I was having a lot of fun. And then I was like maybe gone for a week or two. Like I wasn't away, but I just wasn't very active for a week or two. And then I popped into one of her streams, and she's like, "Oh, hey, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in a bit." And uh I was really surprised that she remembered me, and it made me feel special. So, yeah, Yui Yui is a really really nice person. Uh and she's very very uh good to like all the people in her community. Um so yeah, that was like some of my earliest experiences with VTubing and stuff, and interacting with VTubing and VTubers, I should say. And it made me. I recently stopped by on her anime watch days. She's fun to watch anime with. Yeah, she's really. She's very high energy, which makes her super fun to be around. Uh, when she's like watching stuff, she gets really into it. I remember we all watched Umbrella Academy together on her server, the first season of that, and that was a lot of fun. Uh, mm, and yeah, oh, hydrate. Okay. Mm, thank you for telling me to hydrate. So yeah, um, this was this is all still before I ever became a VTuber, but those kind of interactions made me think more about wanting to become a VTuber myself. Plus because in some of the games that uh like in the games that I was playing with Yui, it was during her streams, and that was my first experience with being on a stream. And it was kind of like a good starting point, because like I wasn't the focal point of the stream. Like it was, "Hey Henry, how are you?" Also, hello Ortiz. I don't think I said hello to you, but hello. Um so it gave me like a little bit more comfort with the idea of talking on a stream and stuff in kind of a safe environment, because if I wasn't talking, it didn't really matter, because it was, it was Yui's stream. No one was there for me specifically. Uh but yeah, um and but like I could talk, um and I found that I enjoyed being on stream, and that made me kind of think maybe I want to do streams of my own. And I started thinking, like, I really like VTubers. I kind of want to be a VTuber too. And for a while there, I thought, oh well, I probably don't, I probably wouldn't be able to figure out how, because I figured like the tech behind it was too complicated. But Rhythm talked a bit about, thank you for the head pat, Starshine. But Rhythm talked a bit about like what goes into being a VTuber, and I'm glad you had such a nice early experience with VTubing to help you get more into it. Yeah, I'm very glad too. Uh, Rhythm talked a bit more about like what goes into VTubing. And there was this other oh, I can't remember her name. I'm sorry. She was penguin themed. She was penguin themed. What's your favorite thing about being a VTuber? Um, no, it was someone. Oh, it was someone who like used to do streams with Rhythm on occasion. I remember her and Rhythm doing a stream together, and they were talking about like getting into VTubing and being fairly like encouraging about it to people. Um oh, it's I'll remember her name later, I'm sure. She's been a she's been around for so long. Um and I feel bad that her name escapes me at the moment. But yeah. Um Oh, 1 second. Sorry. I gotta. Okay, okay. So there we go. Okay, sorry. I had a thing I needed to check real quick. Um, but anyways, they were talking about it, and it made me, Moe, thank you for the host, and it made me think more about like, uh, maybe this is actually something I could do. And then there was this guy, he made a character called Shoko, who was, and he was also active on at the time the Rhythm server. But basically, the reason why I bring him up in this context is that he made the character of Shoko as a VTuber character, and he mentioned to me that like uh, the actual working of the model was a lot easier than he thought it would be. Hey, Rifunk. And that kind of encouraged me to finally take the plunge and uh, commission uh, commission Rhythm to make me a 2D model. Um, and at the time, I was still very like apprehensive about it. I knew a little bit about editing because I actually had been taking Rhythm's Twitch streams and making little compilation videos with it with her permission. I asked her if it would be okay if I made little compilation videos of some of her streams, and she said that was okay. So I did that, and that gave me some basic knowledge about editing. So I knew a little bit about how to edit at this point. Um and um and I had always been a writer, so I knew that I wanted to tell stories with this. But I wasn't sure if I could voice act. Like I wasn't sure if I could do voices, cuz actually this is something else I never brought up. There was a brief period of time, like maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago, something, where I decided I want to try and become a voice actor, and it didn't last for very long at all. I auditioned for a couple parts. I didn't get any of them, and one person said that they really liked how I could maintain like a calm voice, but they were wondering if I could be more expressive. So I tried doing the takes again, trying to be more expressive, and then I listened back to them and I was thinking, huh, I don't think any of these are particularly expressive. Maybe maybe I just can't emote. So that was really discouraging to me, and that made me think, maybe I just have a boring voice. So when I started preparing to do VTubing, I'm like, okay, well, I have to account for the fact that I have a really boring voice. Thank you, Starshine. So originally the character was going to be fairly emotionless and very uh like the idea was that pending was incomplete, so so like maybe he'd learn over time, maybe he'd grow over time, maybe he'd develop emotions over time, but early on he was going to be very monotone and very very dry, and the comedy would come from him misunderstanding things, like jumping to the wrong conclusions about humanity and whatnot. And it was gonna and the story was basically going to be about his journey to learn about humanity. uh and this was before subtitles was a thing. uh and uh yeah uh what I quickly realized was, first off, so like I wrote the first script. I actually had two versions of the first script. um and I showed them both to Rhythm and asked her what she thought, and she recommended I go with one version over the other. The version that we ended up with, uh I remember something like that from the super early videos, though it seemed to move away from it very quickly. Yeah, I did. You're a very talented voice actor. Thank you, Starshine. I still have a lot to learn. I definitely still have a lot to learn, but I feel like I've grown as a voice actor, or at least I feel like I've grown more expressive in my own voice. Uh, mm, there's still a lot more I need to learn. But yeah, I feel like I've grown. Uh, when you become a VTuber, it inspired me. I had really I had only really watched female VTubers before that, and I was unsure about what content I can make as a guy. Seeing you doing it made it seem possible to me. Thank you, Refunk. That's really nice. I really, really appreciate that. When I got started, there wasn't much in the way of male VTubers. I definitely wasn't the first. Uh, if in fact I in fact, like you could point to Deep, for example, who was uh who was among the very very first like English speaking VTubers, who came well before me, and of course he's a guy. So like I definitely wasn't the first, but I there wasn't a whole lot of them, and um and I really appreciate that, Refunk. I'm glad that I helped encourage you to become a VTuber, because that's amazing. I'm I'm really grateful for that. Hey, Oxy. I know, Mikey. I'm laying down some like hard secrets right now. Honestly, you were one of the first English speaking VTubers that I followed, and I was inspired by watching your skits. Thank you so much, Soma. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Um, so yeah, I think what I think what happened was okay, so like I had written the first skit before the penny model was even made. Cuz as soon as like I decided, okay, I want to I thought it was a girl with a voice changer. That is an awesome voice changer that Deet has. Let me tell. If there was a voice changer that could produce that voice, I would want it, because Deet has a cool voice. Uh, mm. So what was I saying? Okay, so the first video I had written before like the pending model was drawn, because I I went into the like as soon as I decided to do VTubing, I started to think, well, what kind of character do I want? And I liked the idea of the unfinished AI. I liked the idea of an AI that was growing and learning. And like I liked the idea that when like the first video you see is like the start of pending. Like this is pending at basically his activation. This is very shortly after he's been first activated. And this is one of the first things that he did. And so that's why like December 13th, like when my anniversary is also like what I label as Pending's birthday. So like and his story is in real time. So uh so effectively like in a couple weeks, Pending the character will be 2 years old. Dee tricked us all into thinking he was French when he was actually American. It makes sense. He can trick us with that as well. Yes, Dee can make you believe anything. That's his superpower. Uh, my boy is utilizing advanced technology. So okay. So I had that, and my earliest fear was like, I like that idea. I don't know if I'll be able to grow that idea. I don't know if I'll be able to like write a lot of stories with it. I don't know if I'll be able to like where it's gonna go. And so I was thinking about that. At that point, I had already committed to at least giving it a shot, because like I had commissioned the model, and I was kind of like, well, if this doesn't work out, this doesn't work out. Like nothing might come from this, but I want to at least say that like I tried. Um, so at this point, I was already into the idea, even if like I didn't have a firm plan. And then in the time where the model was being made, I started thinking about oh, thank you for the bit, Kurzov. Thank you for the bit, and also hello. Thank you. And so like as it was being made, I started thinking about other things that the character could do, and I thought about the idea of him making himself a friend called Subtitles, and that Subtitles would be super evil and like angry with the world, and uh and then from there like things got a lot easier, because suddenly Pending had someone to talk to. And originally obviously Subtitles didn't have a voice. Subtitles was subtitled. um and it's it and then suddenly all the skits kind of became about Pending and Subtitles antics. And because Subtitles was kind of the straight man, Pending naturally progressed into more of a upbeat happy role. Like uh early on, like the first couple videos were a little bit more about Pending being just gullible and not really understanding things, and whereas Subtitles kind of was like wise beyond her days, and also trying to kill Pending and trying to trick Pending into like giving up his body. uh so yeah. uh and then from there, Pending just kind of really grew into being very happy-go-lucky. And I think a lot of that was just a reflection of myself, because whereas I don't think I'm like a super, like I'm not all the time happy-go-lucky, but like one, that's the way I most prefer to be. So like if I'm making like kind of an idealized version of myself, that's the direction I'm going to go in. And two, like it just leads to the kind of comedy writing that I like to write, because I like to write ridiculous, silly styled comedy. And Pending definitely provides me an outlet for that. Was subtitles based on how a lot of VTubers would interact with their subtitles in their videos back then? So I don't remember if like I had direct inspiration for that, but it was definitely the case that I had seen Yui Kai with captcha sans or whatever. What did she call her captions? But she did have like captions or something in her early videos where like her captions, like her Yui Kai's subtitles would actually make fun of her and stuff and prod her and whatnot. And then Rhythm had a similar thing where Rhythm subtitles uh would kind of prod her too, not to the same extent that Yui Kai's did, because Rhythm used it a bit less frequently, and Rhythm acknowledged the subtitles a little bit less than Yui Kai. But it wouldn't surprise me if like seeing Yui Kai do that and seeing Rhythm do that was definitely something that inspired subtitles, even though I can't remember if that was a direct if that was a direct like me thinking, well, I kind of want something like that, or if it just happened to be that planted the seed in my head, and then from there, like I kind of like the idea kind of sprouted out as to what I wanted to do. In fact, I remember one of the early videos, uh, subtitles actually references Yui Kai's cap sans thing, because I think subtitles at one point proposes like asks Yui Kai's cap sans, not that Yui Kai's cap sans were there, just like as kind of like an open question, hey, do you want to trade? Like I'll gladly switch with you so I can deal with Yui Kai instead of having to deal with pending, kind of thing. So I definitely made a reference to it early on. Uh yeah, theirs was a small occasional thing, whereas subtitles was like a full blown character. So I definitely took that thing that some other VTubers had already, like water that other VTubers had already treaded, and I like pushed it to a greater extreme with subtitles, because subtitles was a full blown character with her own agenda and personality and stuff, as opposed to just being uh, a kind of like an omnipresent thing that like it exists to kind of like poke at the VTuber and kind of provide comedic moments or comedic beats. And of course now subtitles isn't even subtitles, because subtitles has her own body now. So it's now kind of a legacy name, because even before subtitles had her own body, she uh ended up becoming dubbed over. So now and now the subtitles are gone entirely, in part because doing those subtitles took a lot of time. Like putting in subtitles was one of the longest parts of any video editing wise. Speaking of your Discord server, today I returned to posting important battles of the Three Kingdoms period in the history talk section. Oh, cool. Mm-hmm. I'm big into history. Uh I want more history documentary. This is a brief aside, and then I'll get back to what we were talking about before. But I'm looking for. I'm trying to find like a documentary or something that talks about the history of Russia, because I'm very interested. Because Russia has such an like a vast and winding and rich history, and I want to learn about it. But I'm having trouble finding like a comprehensive documentary that just kind of chronicles Russia's history. So if anyone has any recommendations for that, that would be good. I would love that. Uh okay, where was I? So yeah, Pending kind of evolved from that, and from there, Pending kind of uh started acting younger and younger. Well, because he was always young in the sense that he had just been activated, but like the earliest pending model was much more adult looking in nature. And I started thinking like pending is, and I didn't really think about pending in terms of like age early on. The idea, the lore implications of like how he acts kind of came later. um so early on I wasn't really thinking about him as an adult or a child. I was just thinking of him as an AI. And over time I started to realize like mentally it's not just like the fact that he's an AI that's only been active for like at the time a couple months. Mentally he acts like a 10-year-old, and I kind of started like writing him with that specifically in mind. And that's when I started giving serious thought to having a 3D model, because I specifically wanted a model that was more childlike than my 2D model. Because when I was doing the 2D model, I wasn't doing it with a specific age in mind. Like I was thinking young adult, but I didn't really uh the specifics of the age didn't really matter that much to me. All I was worried about was whether or not it would sound it would sound convincing, as in the sense of like whether or not the the model would match up reasonably with my voice. Um and then I started thinking like I actually think that the character would be better served if he looked childlike, because it's a better reflection of how he acts and the personality that I've been giving him and the lore that I'm starting to develop about him. Because early on, the lore was kind of inconsistent and kind of half written. So, like if you watch the early skits, there's things in there that directly contradict things that happen later on, lore wise. So, um, so yeah, that was what inspired me to go 3D. Because originally I was kind of reluctant to go 3D, and I didn't really, I wasn't really sure if there was a point to me going 3D. And then I thought, well, I wanna change how pending is seen anyways. So I may as well, if I'm going to significantly change how pending looks anyways, I may as well take that opportunity and make a 3D model, like ask for a 3D model, because at that point, um, it was at kind of a time in VTubing where it's the opposite of how it is now, where at the time 2D was considered the entry level for VTubers, and 3D was considered what you could eventually become if like you were willing to spend like the extra money and stuff. Because, well, not necessarily the extra money and stuff, but it was just generally seen that 2D was more accessible than 3D at that time. Like 3D was something that you work your way up to. And I think part of the reason why that was the case was that like the big VTubers at the time were all 3D models. So 2D was kind of like a seen as, like, you think of Kizuna and Luna and Shiro and Hinata and like those early major Japanese VTubers, they all utilized 3D models. So and part of the reason they all utilized 3D models was because early on, streaming wasn't as big of a thing, uh, and gaming wasn't like as big of a thing as far as VTubing went. Early on, like more like general YouTube esque videos, like not necessarily skits in the sense that I make skits, but like not necessarily skits in the sense that they tell a story. But Luppet didn't exist yet. Yeah, Luppet didn't exist yet. If Vroid existed at the time, I'm not sure. It was not as popular. When did Vroid become more common? That's a great question. I think Argama would know better than me, but I think Vroid became popular early this year. Yeah, maybe 2019 at some point. Vroid really started taking off. Vroid didn't exist until last year or 1.5 years ago. That's yeah, okay. So yeah, like so back in 2018, like if you wanted a 3D model, they were largely or usually made from scratch. Like the original pending model, the original 3D pending model was a Vroid model. Although this was early days of Vroid. And um and so Vroid came with like uh V Vroid wasn't like as popular an option as it became at the time. Um or as it became today. Even today, even by today's standards, models made from scratch, you want to sell a kid. Yeah, well that's why like you want a model from scratch, it's expensive. It's expensive, and there wasn't like a ton of people that you knew that you could contact that could do it. So that's why like starting out as 2D seems so much more viable. And like uh and like you could, if you had a 2D model, you could use face rig. I don't actually know what people used for, well, okay, I guess, so what would have people used for 3D back when, like, say back before like I was a VTuber, like back in Deet's time, um and like uh custom programs at face rig, tracking world, Project Neuron, maybe, yeah, before Leopard. Like tracking world I think is pre uh tracking world I believe came before, and tracking world being Deet's program. uh so yeah, custom programs. I think at one time Rhythm talked about her recording straight from Unity. I think at one time using VR chat as your setup was a thing. So like you would record yourself in VR chat in a custom room that you've made for yourself, and also record the game at the same time if you're doing streaming. If you're doing like a skit style video, it's a little bit different. So yeah, uh it was a lot more cumbersome to be 3D at the time for a number of reasons. So not a lot of people did that. Um, at least early on, it was hard. It was harder to be 3D at the time. So that's why I think, so you take that like barrier to entry, and you take the fact that all the big VTubers at the time had 3D models, and a big reason why they had those 3D models was because they were utilizing full body tracking, and they were making like non-gaming videos with that full body tracking too. Hey, uh, you. I'm sorry, I'm so bad at saying names, but hello. Thank you so much for the host. I hope you're having a good day. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. And hello, yeah, and Noir. Why don't, yeah, I should just call you Noir. That's so much easier. No worries. Oh, and hydrate. Okay, I'll hydrate. Uh, mm. Hello, Ziggy X. Thank you for telling me to hydrate. I think half the English VTubers had their models made by the same guy back then. Yes, and I know who you're talking about, Rafang. I don't know if it's okay to mention the person by name, but there was one. In fact, I won't mention the person by name just for safety's sake, even though it's not really a secret. But like, you could look it up on your own if you're really curious. But like, there was one guy who made like Yui Kai's model. He made Rhythm's model. He made a couple other models at the time. Like it was it was it, so yeah, it it was the trend at the time that, you would start at 2D and you'd eventually become 3D. And so like that kind of corresponded with like that that kind of desire. It's like, it would be kind of cool to be 3D, kind of correspond with, well, I have a reason to become 3D because I want to like update my look anyways. So like it so maybe it's worth giving this a go. So I did. And I was very thank you Ziggy X for the follow. And I was very very happy that I did that. Even though I still don't move my hands. And I'm very very sorry about that. I truly am. Um cuz like I got I bought Leap Motion and that never really worked for me. I've tried it a bunch of times. I continue to try it in the hopes that one day I'll get it to work right. And I bought what's the thing called? The VR with the boxes and then the controllers. Is it the Oculus? Is it the Oculus or is it the Vive? It's the Vive. I bought the Vive. I got the Vive with the trackers. Not like the trackers that you strap on, just like the I got a Vive. I have a Vive. I've never got it to work. I am the bad when it comes to getting things to work, and I feel like I give up too easily when it comes to getting hardware to work. And then I put it off. I procrastinate too much with it. I have a hard drive that I'm speaking to you with a computer that currently that I have a hard drive for that has been sitting on my desk for like weeks now that I haven't gotten around to plugging into this computer that I'm currently speaking to you on. Um, so that kind of highlights to you how how I am not tech. I'm not hardware no. Hardware no. Hardware no. Someone come over and get and set up the Vive for me. Someone make that trip over here and just like please please help. Please help. Please help. But yeah. So uh that's never that, I own the stuff. I still don't move my hands. Leap Motion needs to send a lot of info through the USB. It doesn't work on my laptop. Even a USB 3 port only works on a desktop. Are you serious, Refunk? Is it possible that this whole time the reason why the Leap Motion has never worked for me is because I was trying to get it to work on a laptop? Is it possible that if I plug it into my desktop, it would work? No, that's not right. That's that's not right. I'll where's my Leap Motion? Hang on, wait, hang on, wait 1 second, wait 1 second. Just just talk amongst yourselves for one moment. Just just hang on 1 second. I heard the question about like any tips for starting a stream. I will respond to that in just a moment. 1 second, 1 second. I'm still here. Okay. All right. No, wait. This isn't gonna work because I need to install the software still. I need it. Hang on. Hang on. Wait. Okay, I'm back. I grabbed the Leap Motion. I'm like, I'm gonna try this right now, but then I realized, wait, I gotta actually install the software on the new computer first, so this wouldn't work at the moment. Uh, but that's good to know. That's real. That's real good to know, Rafuk. Maybe it'll work on my desktop. Maybe maybe it'll work on my desktop. Rafuk, Rafuk, Rafuk. Maybe this will work on my desktop. Thank you, Rafuk. Thank you. It's not emergency food. It's Pinto. She's adorable. She's not for eats. Also, I want you guys to know, even though there's no sound coming out of my earphones right now because there's no music playing or gameplay or anything, I have for some reason been having them in my ear the entire time. And I pulled, I guess it's just out of habit. I pulled them out of my ears when I went to get the Leap Motion, and I thought, why did I even have my headphones in my ears to begin with? And then when I got back here, I put them back in my ears. It's just why. Thank you, Roku. Okay, so there was a question. Any tips for starting a stream? Um, I assume you mean like not like the early portion of a stream. Correct me if I'm wrong. I assume you don't mean like what to do early in streams. I assume you more mean like get started streaming. And I guess I guess just early on get comfortable kind of talking to yourself sort of thing, cuz like hopefully people are going to be there to talk with you. But if there aren't people there, uh or if people aren't talking at the time, because like not every stream is going to be very interactive. Like sometimes like people are watching but they're also doing other stuff and whatnot, and like it's like background noise for them, or they're just, or they're lurking or whatnot, and that's perfectly fine. I'm perfectly happy like having a stream where I'm people's background noise and whatnot. um so be comfortable talking to yourself, like vocalizing your thoughts. Like if you're playing a game or whatever, say what you're thinking as much as possible, because it helps people kind of like uh stay in the loop, basically. Like you want to, like if you're playing a game or whatever, some games are very self-explanatory as to what's happening. Like if you're doing a first person shooter, for example, a lot of that is visually like right up front and center, so like people could see it and they kind of know what's going on. But other games, like you need to like kind of vocalize what you're thinking, vocalize what you intend to do, vocalize like what the challenges are, that kind of thing. So getting used to talking to yourself is definitely helpful. um Being That's a good tip, because I started a stream for VR chat and I didn't talk because no one was talking. uh no one was talking. And that's also another thing, like when you're streaming, like obviously you want other people to be there, because like, you know, that's part of the fun of having a stream, is like it's a shared experience. Like other people are there with you. But you also have to be prepared for the possibility, especially early on, that there aren't going to be people there. Uh and you know, if you talk to yourself, that makes it easier, and that also makes it easier for people who pop in to kind of feel comfortable. Hello, Battle Court. How are you doing? Mm-hmm. So that's a tip I would recommend for early streaming, is getting comfortable talking to yourself, trying to talk as clearly as possible, of course, talk at a comfortable volume. Um, what else? What else? Um, also, you know, a lot of it comes with experience. Like early on you may be pretty nervous, or like your throat might get sore really quickly and stuff, and just kind of learning, just kind of like getting used to it. Like the more you do it, the less nervous you get, basically. Mm-hmm. Um, have an sorry, have a nice meal, Battle Court. I hope your breakfast is good. I myself had like banana and chocolate waffles for breakfast. I tried a new delivery service today because usually I use Uber Eats. And I used, what is it called? We were talking about it yesterday. I can look it up real quick. I don't know why we're talking about what I use to order food, but I guess that's what's happening at the moment. Um, it is called DoorDash. So yeah, I tried DoorDash today. I don't know if it's better or worse really, but I tried it and yeah, it worked. Uh the person the person didn't the one thing was, and I don't know if this is my fault or not. I don't think it was, but it's possible. So like for pandemic reasons, like I much prefer they just like put the food at the door and then, leave, so it's a contactless delivery. And I thought that's what they were going to do because I thought I had clicked the thing to leave the food at the door as opposed to hand it off. But the guy like rang the doorbell, and then like 15 seconds later he knocked on the door, so I opened the door, um and he handed me the food, and it's not a big deal, but like I wonder if I did something wrong. I wonder if I did something wrong with the settings. I double checked it afterwards, and it looked like it was the right setting. I wonder if it was just like kind of a luck of the draw thing. It hasn't happened to me before where like I with Uber Eats where I like selected contactless delivery and the person didn't do it. So I don't know. But it is what it is. Um so yeah, um but yeah, I remember like early on, another big thing that happened early on. First off, I got kind of ahead of myself in talking about like going 3D and stuff because I was really like when I got started, um like I I was really uncertain as to how this would go. Um I made the first video. I actually looked it up like a couple like maybe a month or two ago because I was curious as to how many views that first video actually got like at the time. The first video, I looked it up, it had 17 views in the first 24 hours, which to me felt like a lot. And uh like I didn't want to talk about the fact that I was doing this ahead of time to people. Uh I guess I kind of wanted it to be a surprise, even though no one was waiting for it or anything. Um, so yeah, it is a good number to start with. So I did it. I put out the first video. I actually put out two videos because at the time there was a kind of debate going on that I guess is still going on to this day to an extent. There there was this debate about whether or not uh whether or not it was there was kind of a backlash against the idea of like a VTuber like pretending to be the character, like the VTuber like claiming to be that character, the character that they were um without acknowledging that it is a character, like without being true to themselves, like this idea that it was lying or deceitful or whatnot. And uh and this idea that a VTuber who's playing a character is kind of uh seen as a negative thing. And I think maybe to a certain extent, like I was listening to a conversation about it, like over Discord, and it was a little bit discouraging to me, or a little bit. uh, it made me double think about things because um because uh like Pending was a character. Like I had made Pending to be a character. Uh so I debate about like, do I want to? So I was listening to people's reaction to that, and in retrospect, I wonder if it wasn't a bit of like kind of a like a bit of a feeling of like a rebellious spirit between like the English community that was just getting started and just trying to find its way, and the Japanese side where it was a big deal at the time, and I guess still is to this day, where on the Japanese side it was very, very important that VTubers never broke character. Like there's a documentary that was made like a year or two ago about VTubing, and in the documentary they interview Kizuna Ai, and Kizuna Ai doesn't break character in the documentary. Kizuna Ai is interviewed and she talks about what it's like being an AI. Um, so like not breaking character was a very important thing. It seemed in Japanese VTubing, at least at the time, and I guess still to this day to varying degrees. It probably depends person to person. Whereas on the English side, while there was like a kind of like token gesture towards uh towards being a character, or towards being an AI, for example, by and large, they weren't maintaining a character. They were maybe having like a separation between the VTuber and the person, but that separation wasn't based on uh wasn't based on personality or story. It was more based on just like the separation that, say, a streamer would have between like their streaming life and their real life, um or a YouTuber would have between their YouTube life and their real life, like the kind of difference uh that Markiplier would have, for example, between like how he's like on screen and how he's like off screen, uh or that kind of thing, like the difference between professional and private. Basically, that was like the separation more than like a character based separation, like I always have to maintain character based thing. um so like people were talking about how they didn't really like that aspect of Japanese VTubing, at least in this particular conversation that I was watching at the time, and it made me kind of question like what I was doing, and if I wanted to be uh if I wanted to maintain the character, and if people would feel that it's deceitful. So what I ended up deciding was to do a compromise where, like, okay, well, yes, Pending is a character, but I am at the time, my name on Discord and stuff was Terakai, which is, so I'm like, okay, well, Pending is the character. I am Terakai. I the person am Terakai, which is ironic because Terakai isn't my name either, but whatever. Um, so and I will potentially make videos both as Terakai and as Pending. So the Pending videos are going to be in character. There's going to be no illusion of the idea that Pending the character exists in real life. And then I will also make videos as Terakai where I'm just being myself. Uh and so that's how I'm going to do it. So that way I'm not like trying to pull the wool over anyone's head. I'm not trying to act like I am something that I'm not. I'm just like trying to tell stories, but I'm also like trying to show people who I am as a person. So that's why originally, like, I maintained a distinction between Terekai and pending. And in the early videos, I think, if I remember correctly, I'd actually have to check. Let me verify this, because I remember like my first two videos are entitled something along the lines of like, "Hi, I'm Terekai, and greetings, my name is Pending," because like one is the character introduction and one is the me introduction. And then after that, uh, the the first couple videos after that like have like in brackets and in square brackets pending at the beginning, because uh it was supposed to identify whether this was a pending video or a Terekai video. And I maintained that for uh about a month, because I can see I broke that trend with a video on January 11th, uh, entitled "How to Make a Broken AI Your Friend." That was the first video I did where it doesn't have pending in the title. Um, and yeah, but originally I was worried about that, because originally I was worried that'd be confusing. Um, yeah, I did have Terekai on that one. Like yeah. So the Magic the Gathering video was labeled as a Terekai video. I also had a video where I talked about uh whatchamacallit. Um I talked about anxiety and depression, because early on one thing I wanted to do with the channel was I wanted to kind of like share my thoughts on uh self-wellness, I guess. Hey Shirogane, because I was coming off of a period of time where I had been kind of uh, debilitated by anxiety for the span of about a year or so. And when I was like that, when I was having like daily panic attacks, and when nothing seemed to work, and when it seemed to be getting worse by the day, and like less, it took less and less to trigger a panic attack, and it felt like the walls were kind of caving in, and like before long I wouldn't be able to function as a human being anymore, because like there would be nothing that would be able to uh keep me sane. um i would search I would search like online for things to help. I would search for like YouTube videos about people talking about anxiety and stuff, and like methods to deal with it, or methods to deal with depression and whatnot. And I kind of, and those helped, and I kind of wanted to do the same. Um, do you know Rhythm? Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, so yeah, one of my early videos was do you know Rhythm? Where it's a farcical it was like it's based on the Do You Know Gaming videos. So the idea behind that video was I was gonna take Rhythm, and I was gonna basically rewrite her story. Like I made her out to be a secret mobster and stuff. It was an early example of me deciding to rewrite another VTuber's lore on for them. Although, unlike with say Momiji, who like I like had a lot of influence in her lore without like her uh kind of agreeing to me doing that. I just kind of popularized like things about her lore that aren't true, like her eating Disney princesses, for example, was one of those things. um unlike those things, I actually like asked Rhythm ahead of time, "Hey, are you okay if I do this?" And then I showed her like the video before I published it, saying like, "Hey, are you okay if I publish this?" And like she actually even like was kind enough to record a couple lines of dialogue for that video. And I may be wrong, but I think that actually might be, it is, yeah, it's the earliest example of like someone else contributing to one of my videos, was the did you know Otonashi Rhythm. And I had like ideas of doing that with other VTubers too, like where I do like kind of like a life in the times of like another VTuber, and like it's all inaccurate information, and it's so clearly inaccurate information and stuff. And obviously if I ever did that, I would do it with that VTuber's permission as well. Like I would give them the opportunity to like green light it and all that, to make sure they're comfortable with it. uh but I don't know, I feel like um I worry that uh attempting that nowadays might have unintended consequences, even if the VTuber themselves was okay with it. So that's something that that's something that I've kind of like thought about from time to time. Like I remember even like after I made the rhythm one, there was someone else, and I don't know if it's okay to say who it was. The themselves wouldn't know because I never asked them if it would be okay. Uh, because like I kind of thought of the idea, and then I'm like, I don't know if this is, I don't know if this would work. I don't know if like it'd be a good idea to do this. Oh, Asu, thank you very much for the raid. Thank you, thank you. We're like reminiscing about old times. So I don't know if it's okay to say who it was, even though like they never turned it down or anything. They just never knew about it to begin with. But I was gonna do another one of these with another VTuber, and then I decided no, I don't think it's a good idea. So I never asked them about it. It never went any further than me just uh kind of like toying with the idea in my head. Oh, Asu was playing Ring Fit. Oh, he's getting super swole. And also, hello, Hana Yukio, Yukio. Hello. I hope you had a good stream, Asu. Mm. So yeah, uh, it was, but that video was a lot of fun to make, and that was the first video I think that like got like uh that video saw like a significant jump in views compared to my other videos. In fact, even today, if you look at like the list of videos, like you'll see like my first two videos, which are intro videos, so they always end up with more views than other videos. Because like if anyone comes to the channel, or rather a lot of people when they go to a YouTube channel, they'll unfortunately like click on oldest video and they'll like watch the oldest videos, which I'd really rather you didn't with me, because I don't feel like my older videos are a good representation of what I can do now. At least I hope not, because I hope I've gotten better. Um, so like you can see the first two videos, the intro videos, the are at like 580 views, 300 views. Then the next two videos after that are about at 100 views. Uh, Penning's Merry Christmas is at 91 views. Then the two videos after that are at 80 views. And then sandwiched in between those videos is the Did You Know Altanashi Rhythm video that has 1,066 views. So like 10 times more than any other video I had made for a while before or since. Like and to this day is one of the most popular videos on my channel. So yeah, it was a really popular video. uh I think they look at your older videos to see growth. I hope so. I hope they're not judging the older videos and as a determining factor as to whether or not they want to watch my stuff or not. Cause like I can do better. I can do better. Just give me a chance. They were still worth watching, I think. Thank you, Roku. I'm glad. So yeah, and I feel like I have done better. Thank you, Asu. I feel like there's potential for that did you know like insert VTuber's name thing. Or like maybe like a life in the times of like VTuber X. I definitely think that that could be there's potential there. And maybe it could work, but it'd be risky. It'd be risky because people might take it too seriously and then they might get offended. Uh and so that's why I'm worried about that. You've improved a lot over the 28.3 years of Penning's VTubing life. Thank you, Asu. Asu, earlier in this stream, I said that I started in 1918. So apparently I predate both the internet and the genre of anime itself. So that was impressive of me. I'm not gonna lie. Just include the word parody also. Hopefully that would be enough. It might be worth giving it a shot at the very least. I've also been thinking about doing like rather than parody videos of it, I've also been thinking of doing like VTuber bio videos where like I just I don't do it jokingly. I just kind of talk about like a VTuber. Like maybe I do like a super short interview of them. Not an interview like what the Better Know a VTuber turned into, because those were meant to be relatively short videos initially, and then they kind of became like an hour long each. Thank you for the boop. They kind of became an hour long each. By the way, I want to do more of those Better Know a VTubers. The only reason why I stopped was, well, there was two reasons why I stopped. One, I did one for Deet. I did a Deet one, and then my computer blew up, and I lost the Deet one, and I was really really sad about it, and that was kind of like very discouraging. So I got sad, and then I put it aside for a while. And the other reason is because the actually are a deceptively large amount of work to edit. Not because they're hard to edit, it's just because there's so much footage to go over. So I've been kind of thinking about that. I've been thinking like if only I had the money to hire it like a if only I had the money to get someone else to like regularly edit those for me. That would be the direction I would go in, because oh, Sig, no. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, don't please don't say things like that. I hope you feel better. I hope you feel better. Eight Life says this wasn't a part of your channel, but there was a guest appearance you made in one video where you unknowingly joined a cult. Where would that have been in the timeline? Oh, so that would have been I know what video you're talking about. It was it's a video with Moe. Um yeah, I unknowingly joined Moe's cult. Uh I whenever that video takes place like chronologically is where it would also work into the timeline. I can't remember where the video takes place chronologically. But yeah, your interviews are great, Pending. I like to watch those. Thank you. I really enjoy doing them. I have a lot of fun doing those interviews. And I would definitely like to interview more people. So maybe I would like to find a way to get back into that and like make it a regular thing. Hmm. So yeah, at some point, definitely want to do that. Uh, like maybe do like one every other week or something. That would be really nice if I could like make it a regular thing. Maybe, maybe make it as a stream interview, just because that removes the editing element of it. Although if I do it as a stream interview, I would probably do them on YouTube for archiving sake. Um, I would either do the interview on YouTube, or I would at very least put the VOD of it on YouTube. One or the other. Probably just do it on YouTube to begin with. Um, yeah. So yeah. I would very much like to get back into interviewing people. Um, ASMR idea for Mo. POV of you tied to a railroad and Moe is the conductor. Oh, if if we if we ever did that, I would want it to be that Penning is completely oblivious to what's happening. Like like I'd be tied to the railroad and someone is trying to threaten me, and I would just be completely like not threatened at all because I wouldn't understand what's happening. Also, Penning is pretty much uh is pretty invincible. Like there's been jokes about like subtitles dropping trucks and stuff on him. So I think he would be probably okay if he got run over by a train. Uh mm. And there's actually lore reasons for that I haven't gotten into. That's something I kind of wanted to talk to about too. Is I've had a bad habit recently of biting off more than I can chew, from like a perspective of like videos and stuff. Like there's a big project for Penny that I've been wanting to do for a while now, that a lot of people were generous enough to provide, to like help me with, that hasn't gotten off the ground yet really, and it's all my fault. It's entirely my fault. Because I under well, first off, I've been busy, so that part isn't necessarily my fault. But that's, I can't blame it entirely on me being busy, because I underestimated how hard it would be, and I kind of underestimated, like, I guess, where I'm at, sort of. So I still want to do that, but I'm kind of I'm kind of drifting a little bit in that regard. There's another big thing that I'm working on right now that's also VTubing related, that oddly enough might come out first, just because it's a little more viable, question mark. But I'm hesitant to talk too much about it because I don't want to I feel like I've done it too many times where like I've gotten I've like tried to talk about something before it happened and then it didn't end up happening, and then I feel bad about it. So I don't want to talk too much about it in case like it doesn't end up happening, because that's been a problem of mine, where like my ambitions are bigger than either my means or my abilities or both. But yeah, I've had a lot of false starts recently, and it's been uh uh I guess discouraging slash frustrating, but it is also what it is, and you kind of like, you have no choice but to move forward, because you know life is kind of like life is like being in like one of those auto scroll levels in like a platformer or whatnot. You can either get ahead of it or you can try to stay still. Like you can feel like um paralyzed by life, and you could just stay still. But regardless of whatever you do, like you're gonna end up going forward, whether you're going forward of your own volition or like you're just at the end of the level and it's just like forcing you forward. Like you don't have a choice in it, unfortunately. Um, so regardless of what happens, like things just keep moving forward. And you do your best. So you hopefully learn from things that don't go well, and you hopefully learn from things that go well. Um, an ideas and skit concepts channel on the Discord would be nice. I'd definitely make one. Uh I'd make one. Technically, originally that was what the suggestions channel was that I think I've turned to a legacy channel now because or does this no, the suggestions channel still exists. Uh, so I'll make a skits ideas slash concepts channel if like people want that. And it doesn't have to be skits specifically for me. Like if people want to throw out ideas and then other people are like, I like that idea, and then they want to take it and run with it, they're perfectly uh fine to do that. It can kind of be like a those take a penny, leave a penny things. They might not have them anymore because a penny has no real practical value. But there used to be these things that were on like that were like next to like the cash registers of businesses and stuff. Like you could put a penny in there, or if you were a penny short, you could take a penny and like use that penny so that you had exact change. Um, so it could kind of be like that where you can take an idea from there or you can leave an idea there. It's just like a kind of place for like tossing ideas around. Um, so yeah, I'll make that board and I'll see if people want to use that. Um, mm So, uh, mm, um, where was I? I don't know where I was. I'm kind of jumping all over the place. I remember talking about like how I was talking about the Otonoshi rhythm and the Did You Know Otonoshi rhythm video, and then we ended up talking about like the interviews and stuff, which I really enjoyed. Uh, and I was talking about like the early days um of VTubing. I remember it like I said early on in this stream, like a big theme early on was like whether or not it was viable. And I remember feeling early on like it was viable, like this was a thing that we could like this was a thing with the potential to be popular in like the English speaking world. Um and like it was just a question of like getting the word out that this exists. Like that was the barrier. Like that people in the English speaking side didn't really know that VTubing was a thing yet. Um and I remember like um I remember thinking like early on like Yui Kai was a big trailblazer in kind of getting the word out because she was one of the first popular ones. Moe was as well for like because she was one of like the first really popular English speaking VTubers. And um 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 uh like Deed and Rhythm and Caroline um and Tia and Kairu and Daba and Kitsumi and like um were all like really early on some of the ones that were like kind of uh getting the word out that English VTubing was a thing. Um, and early on, like I remember, like uh, Deets, like Discord was kind of became like this popular like gathering place for English VTubers for that reason, that like there wasn't like a whole lot of uh places where English VTubers would talk yet, because there wasn't a whole lot of English VTubers yet. Um so that kind of worked as like kind of like a bridging place. I'm getting really hungry all of a sudden. I'm gonna eat this turtles that I have. And Shane got me turtles. Um, I don't know if you're here, Shane. Um, but if you are, thank you very much for getting me turtles. We're just gonna sit here for a moment while I eat this turtle. Hmm. Getting a gaming PC. That's a really good personal goal. I remember when I was a kid, I used to be really fascinated with the growth of like hardware technology. Um, there was this thing. So there was this thing. Like it was basically a requirement in elementary school, and I think high school as well. I don't know if it was required in high school, but I think it was, that you had to buy the yearbook, not the yearbook, sorry, the daily planner that they provided. It had like the school rules on it. It had like a thing in there, like a day by day thing in there, where you would write like what your homework assignments was. I have a pet turtle. Now I know how Protect Pinto feels. Yeah. If it makes you feel any better, the turtles I'm eating are chocolate. They're not actual turtles. They're actually there is no meat in them. There's chocolate, pecan, caramel in them. They're really good. Uh, by the way, Dapperly, that reminds me, Dapperly, also one of the early English VTubers that was like kind of out there, like sp- spreading the word that VTubing exists. Argama Witch as well, of course. Argama Witch um, did a lot of things early on and still today to like really like uh, connect the community. Like she made the keychains, for example, uh, which which for a lot of us is the one and only time any of us have had like tangible like something of our VTuberness that we can actually like hold in our hand, or like other people could buy if they wanted. Like if you ever wanted to own any physical item related to pending, the only items that exist are the ones that Argama made. She made the keychains. She also made a pending pillow. She made a pending pillow. I believe you can still buy the pending pillow if you want it on Argama's store. One side is pending sleeping with like cookie crumbs everywhere. The other side is a upset subtitles. Mm. So yeah, uh, she also pending also not pending. Argama also made this huge like VTuber poster um, that has like over 100 VTubers on it. That's really really cool. She also made like a We Are VTubers video um, that like showed off like different VTuber events and stuff. So yeah, Argama has done a lot to like connect VTubers together. Um, hmm. uh, I'm gonna buy one for my puppy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, that would be amazing. Yeah, I really really like the pillow. I bought the penny pillow myself. Um, I really really like it. It's cool to have like a thing. Like it's cool to have like a physical thing, a physical item that like kind of spawned from pending. Um, I don't know. It's just kind of like a. It's just kind of like a tangible proof that I've done a thing. You know. Um, it's rare to get those kind of tangible proofs that I've done a thing, especially because like uh my day job is writing, and like the writing, like a lot of that isn't tangible either because a lot of it is online. So it's rare that there is an item that exists that is proof that that I do anything, kind of, I guess. So it is nice that those items uh, are out there. It is, and I think like a lot of other VTubers like it for similar reasons. Like it's a thing that like it's a thing that exists that like they can hold in their hand that is evidence of what they've done, a representation of what they've done, of the character that they made, of like the stuff, the work that they put out there. Like this is them, kind of thing, you know. And she made keychains for a lot of different VTubers, big and small. Um, and so yeah, it's it's something I'm very very appreciative of that she did for me and for others, and she did those without like um she did those without uh like profit or anything. Like she sold those at cost, like between the cost of manufacturing them and the fact that she has to pay taxes on the sales of them and like the shipping and everything. Between all those things, she she makes like no money on it, because she uh, uh, because she didn't, well she didn't feel right making money on them, which I would have been okay with her making money on it because like she put so much work into them. But anyways, I'm getting off on a tangent. Point is, Argama helped, did a lot of nice, has done a lot of nice things for the community, still does a lot of nice things for the community. Um, in addition to also making a lot of VTuber models and stuff, such as the one you see before you right now. Uh, Argama made this model. Yeah, and I lost my train of thought again. She really is a great person. Yeah, exactly, Mikey. Um, what was I talking about? I knew that. I mean, I think I mentioned even in the tweet that this was going to be kind of rambling because, like, reminiscing about things leads to rambling. Um, I had been talking about how we used to hang out, like back in the day, like a bunch of people would hang out on Deet's server as kind of like a connecting thread. Um, that's kind of like where I started to meet. Like I already knew other VTubers, but like that I met more VTubers there, and I started getting comfortable talking to them via that. Um, it wasn't like it was specifically like it wasn't like only VTubers talk there, like, but it was like a mixture of like VTubers and like fans of VTubers, and like we were all like uh, comparatively small, and just trying to figure out what we were doing, because like you know I think to this day still uh, it's hard to know what we're doing. And like most of us, we don't have like uh we don't have like uh a team or anything, like, and that's both good and a bad thing, because it's the nice thing about being on your own is it gives you a ton of freedom to do whatever you want, and you don't have to like check with anyone if this is okay or not. If you really want to do something, you can do it. And that kind of freedom is very nice. That kind of flexibility is very convenient. The downside to that is like you are also kind of figuring things out on your own, and uh, if you need something done, then you have to do it yourself. Although that being said, um, it would be misleading to say that I've done everything on my own, because other people have helped me tremendously. Um, like there have been people that have helped me edit videos. There have been people that have appeared in my videos for me. There have been people that have like read like scripts for me and given me like their feedback on it. uh there have been people that have supported me either by viewing the videos or commenting on the videos, or like just being here in the stream, or like subscribing or donating or whatnot. Like even if you are like even if you are an individual, in the sense that you don't have like a team you're working with, no one's an island onto themselves. Everyone has like a support structure. Also, thank you, Spanner, for telling me to hydrate. I will hydrate. Mm. See, there's people here helping me hydrate. Mm-hmm. And also, thank you, Onxie, for the boop. So yeah, like, um, and I don't know that if I really thank people enough for kind of being there for me. Both thank my friends enough for it, and also thank all of you. Like, um, not that you aren't my friends. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like, thank everyone who also watches the videos and stuff for being there. Because I've mentioned this before, but like, well, when you're writing things that you yourself would enjoy. Um, the You're definitely also writing with the hope that other people will enjoy it. Like, I if you don't want to share your story, you don't have to. That's like, I daydream, and like I don't share my daydreams. Um and but like these are stories that I want to be shared. And like when I write a skit and I put out a skit, I do so because I want people to see it. And I want people to, uh, react to it positively or even negatively. And, you know, um, that's a driving factor for me, is the idea that if I do it, people will see it, and people will have a reaction to it. And the same goes with streaming. Like, um, I could play games on my own, but I stream because I want people to be there. Um, and the fact that people are there helps encourage me to stream. And um, the fact that there are people in the community help encourage me to keep going forward. And the fact that people are supportive helps keep me positive. Um, and the fact that my friends are there for me helps, you know, helps keep me going. Um, so it's thank you for the head pats. So the point is that even though I am strictly speaking like I'm an independent VTuber in the sense that I'm not part of a company or anything, like everyone, no one does it all on their own. I certainly haven't. Um, and the ones that are part of a company, you know, the have their own challenges too, but the share in the desire to make something that'll that'll make people happy, that'll inspire people, that'll cheer up people, um, that'll um, that'll make people's days. Like um, you know, every everyone, whether they're like um everyone, whether they're like an independent VTuber or a company VTuber or not a VTuber at all, like we all want to make a positive impact, and we're all working towards that, and we all want to find value in ourselves. We all want to see value in ourselves, and we all strive for um, strive for uh, a sense of validity in ourselves. So these are things that we all have in common. Um, and I can't remember why I got off on this tangent. Um, but that's okay. Yeah. So that's that's yeah. This is why I did this stream, because like I was like I'm gonna have a stream on December 13th for my 2-year anniversary, but I think that's going to be like uh, a stream where I play games with friends and stuff, and I'm really looking forward to that. But I also knew that I really wanted to also have time to like be self-reflective and to just kind of talk about um my memories and stuff. Um and so I wanted to do that. It was really nice hearing about your experiences. Thank you. Thank you, Oxide. It's weird because like on the one hand on the one hand I feel like I've talked a lot, and on the other hand I feel like I've barely scratched the surface. Um so much has happened over the last 2 years, and obviously VTubing has changed so much since then. Well, it hasn't. It hasn't. I mean, VTubing is VTubing. Like, when you look at the actual content that's being put out there, compared to the content that was being put out there 2 years ago, have things truly changed that much? In some respects, sure, but the fundamentals are still there. Like VTubing hasn't transformed as a genre, but like the community has grown so much, and there's been so many events that have happened, some like really really good, and some really really stressful, and some there's been some darker moments, and some heights, and you know eh, and I think sometimes we get fixated on one or the other, and we kind of forget about the general just day to day. Like we perhaps remember um if if you were looking at things from the perspective of like the ocean, you might focus more on those little tiny islands that prop up here and there as being the eye-catching events, as being the focal points. But like the reality is, like the thing that dominated the most was the ocean part. It's the standard kind of thing. But you get caught up in um in the other stuff. There's also another line I remember from a show. Goes something like, "Don't let the urgent drown out the important," kind of thing. Where like, and in this context, I kind of take it to mean, sort of like, don't let uh don't like let the big events of the day kind of drown out the more like long term stuff. Um, I think that's just generally good advice in general. Advice I don't really take, but it's it seems sound to me, because like the idea of like you worry about putting out fire so much that you never progress. You worry about uh you focus so much on um you focus so much on that short-term problem that seems super relevant at the moment and seems like it absolutely has to be addressed, but you sacrifice like the a more fundamental you sacrifice focusing on a more fundamental issue because that issue is not going anywhere, whereas the short-term thing needs to be addressed right now. And it's hard to kind of parse that. It's hard to ignore the fact that that short-term issue is so relevant. But yeah, I don't really know what I'm saying. Uh, but yeah, it sounded good in my head. I don't really know what I'm saying. Oh, that's kind of the problem. Like, it's a lot easier to say things than to kind of take your own advice. Stay light on your senses. Uh, not on your tech unrelated, but good advice when lost in a forest. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, that reminds me of another saying that you were probably alluding to. You can't see the forest from the trees, kind of thing. Like you miss out on the big picture by focusing too much on the little things. Uh, mm that would have been a much better analogy to lead with than the rambling one I had. Yeah. Mm. So I think that's kind of the thing with nostalgia is you focus on the event points but not the overall feeling. Um, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Um, mm. uh, is there anything else I wanted to talk about? There's certainly more I could talk about, but I don't know how long I wanted to go. It's been 2 hours right now. It's 8 p.m. I haven't eaten dinner yet, and I have work to do. But is there anything I want to talk about to close out on? I was thinking about doing a follow-up stream. Let me know if this sounds like a good idea to you guys. I was thinking about doing a Q&A stream. So, like, what I was going to do is I was going to put up a Twitter thread, and you could submit your questions to the Twitter thread, and then I would just answer. I would take a stream where I would just answer questions from the Twitter thread. If that sounds like a thing you guys would be interested in. Um, And it could be about like VTubing, it could be about me, it could be about like my history, it could be about whatever. Um, Obviously, there may be questions that I can't answer or that I don't feel comfortable answering, but for the by and large, I imagine like uh, the questions will be things that I will at least make an attempt to answer. Whether or not I can give a good answer or not, I have no idea, but I would try my best. Uh, mm. And um, sounds like a fun idea to me. You always learn so many things from Q&A sessions. Yeah, I really like Q&A sessions. I really like doing question and answers. So that's part of why. And it seems like a good follow-up. Like these next 2 weeks, partially nostalgia weeks. Partially like my 2 week long anniversary, second anniversary. Um, mm, Although I'm also having like unrelated streams. Like for example, uh tomorrow night, if all goes well tomorrow night, Doki Doki Literature Club. We're doing more of that. Um we've almost reached the end of Act 1. So the goal is next stream. I know it was the goal for the previous 2 streams as well, but the goal is next stream we're going to reach the end of Act 1 at the very least. I think maybe we can reach the Act 1 and get started on Act 2 next week. I'm interested to see how this goes. Um, hmm. And what else? What else? I got Danganronpa tentatively planned for this weekend. I'd like to play more EU4, of course. In fact, I was thinking about doing an EU4 stream today, but I decided that I wanted to do this just chatting stream instead. I don't know if I mentioned this or not yet. I have so there is a YouTuber slash recently became Twitch streamer who I am a huge fan of. His name is JRose11. If you are interested, this is how he spells it, so you can look up his videos and or Twitch channel if you so choose. And what he is known for is doing Pokemon challenges, most often Pokemon solo challenges. So I've been watching his videos, and that inspired me to want to do a Pokemon solo challenge of my own. And I decided that what I want to do, and this isn't recommended, and this is probably going to be a disaster, but I decided what I want to do is I want to try doing a Pokemon solo challenge of Pokemon Red where I only use a Weedle in battles. I can use other Pokemon outside of battles for HM purposes. So, like, because Weedle can't learn any HMs. So, and there are points in the game where you need, like, a Pokemon with HMs to progress. So, yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to do the Weedle run after all. It's going to be terrible. It is arguably the hardest Pokemon to do in Pokemon Red that is actually possible to do. Because, like, in Pokemon Red, for example, you couldn't do it with Magikarp because Magikarp only has normal moves. And there is a point in Pokemon Red and Blue where you need to face ghost Pokemon, and Magikarp has no way of attacking ghost Pokemon, so you can't advance. And like even in Pokemon Red and Blue, even Struggle is a normal type move because every other generation of Pokemon it's typeless, so you can get around it by using Struggle, but not in Pokemon Red and Blue. And that Struggle doesn't deal damage to ghost Pokemon because it's normal. So I will be using Weedle, which has one of the worst stats in the game, And it also only ever has one attacking move, which is Poison Sting. It's a 15 power move that has a 30% chance to poison Pokemon. And that's the only move it ever can learn that is damaging. The only other thing it could do is struggle. Thank you, Aster, for the follow. So even at level 100, even if I get my Weedle up to level 100, it is entirely feasible that I would not be able to beat the Elite Four with a Weedle. Harney sent you? Well, thank you very much for coming here. Harney and Moe sent you. Thank you very much for coming here. They're both friends of mine. I really appreciate them sending you here. And also, thank you, Apprentice, for resubbing for 7 months. Hello, Pending. It's been a fun 7 months, man. I wouldn't have it any other way. Ready to keep us supporting you. Thank you so much. I want to set up that thing where it reads the stuff with text to speech. Like if people subscribe or donate, it'll read a text to speech message. That would be nice. I'll have to figure out how to set that up. I can't imagine it's that difficult because I think it's got built-in functionality. Maybe no, it's actually I think an add-on, but it's got to be doable. How are things going? Things are going very well. I've been spending the stream kind of talking about reminiscing about the past. Now I'm just kind of rambling. So maybe this is a good time to wrap things up. I guess this is a good time to wrap things up. But thank you all so much for being here. Stream again tomorrow for Tokidoki Literature Club. More streams after that, games and stuff. And yeah. And I'm gonna probably do that Q&A stream. I'll make a Twitter thread for the Q&A stream if you want to ask a question that I'll then answer during the Q&A stream. I truly see potential in your VTubing. Thank you very much. Thank you. Sorry you're late. Glad I could catch you though. Yeah, I'm glad you're here too. And no worries. I make my stream spontaneously, so I know like whether or not people are happen to be available when I stream or not is kind of luck of the draw. I really should have a schedule, but I'm always afraid of having a schedule because I'm always afraid what if I end up missing a schedule time or something. Oh yeah, thank you, Roku. Yeah, that's my Discord. If people want to come, if people want to join in. Wait, AC, what's in 45 minutes? Wait, hang on. Let me check something. Oh, okay. I'll hydrate, Mr. Spanner. What's in 45 minutes? Among Us? Isn't that tomorrow morning? Is that in 45 minutes? Is that in 45 minutes? Hang on a sec. I may have is that wait, wasn't that in the morning? Hey, I mean, I'll be free. I'll be able to do it still, but like I completely spaced on this. And you know what? Even earlier today, I passively saw that you made the tweet, and it said in 7 hours. I'm like, 7 hours? That doesn't seem right. It can't be. I can't be like because like that doesn't seem right. Like because it's in the morning and it's more than 7 hours to the morning. But I'm like, okay, I guess whatever. Like maybe maybe it's closer to morning than I thought. It's morning for you and Sweeran and Refunk. Okay, so new plan. Okay, I'm gonna go eat dinner. Real quick, and then I don't know if I'm streaming Among Us or not. I will be there for Among Us. I don't know if I will participate. I don't know if I'm streaming it or not, cause yeah, I might stream it. or I might not. So it is possible that you guys, well, you guys will, if you guys want to, if you guys want to watch Among Us, either way, like it's gonna be streamed with other people. But I might stream it as well because I was originally thinking I was gonna stream it, but then I didn't. But then I streamed this because I was um I was like I didn't think I had a thing tonight, but now I do have a thing tonight, so I might stream, and I would just keep going with this stream, but I'm kind of hungry and I haven't eaten yet, so maybe I'll eat first and then I'll stream, and then we'll play Among Us, and Ace will kill me, and then I'll be upset. Okay, so I'm gonna go eat. Hang on. I gotta find someone to raid. I gotta find someone to raid. I gotta find someone to raid before Among Us. Okay. Let's see. Who should I raid? Who should I raid? We are gonna raid Noir. We are gonna raid Noir. Okay. Okay. Let's raid Noir. Okay. Okay. Thank you guys for being. Thank you for being here. I will, I guess, see you guys again in like 40 minutes, 45 minutes, if you guys want to watch Among Us. Otherwise, either way, thank you all for being here. I'm gonna eat dinner and then I'll play Among Us. Okay. I am so disorganized. See you soon. I'd leave the stream on and say it's a food break. Yeah, but it's gonna be a long food break, so it's okay. Anyways, I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye. Bye bye. Boop.